Have you ever considered walking a Camino de Santiago trail? There are many Camino routes, and most of them end up at the cathedral in Santiago de Compostela, which is considered by many to be the resting place of St. James. And pilgrims from Ireland and Britain would usually arrive by boat, landing in ports on the northwest coast of Spain, like A Coruña. The official trails, which leave from both A Coruña and Ferrol, are now known as the Camino Ingles. After flying into A Coruña, we took the bus to Ferrol and started our Camino from there. This would mean our Camino walk would be over 100 kilometers, and if we walked all the way to Santiago, we would be eligible for a Compostela certificate, providing we collected at least 2 stamps a day in our Pilgrim passports. We arrived just in time to pick up our passports at the Pilgrim office before it closed and set off walking the next morning. We are just walking through Ferrol. We stayed the night in a nice hotel. We are booked into an albergue tonight. Looking for the familiar arrows and shells. Here we are. It felt good to be back on the Camino again and to spend some quality time with my daughter. The previous year, I had walked my first Camino, the Camino Frances from Saint-Jean-Pied-de-Port, and after reaching Santiago, I carried on to Finisterre. That was an epic adventure which took me 40 days. I did know that the Camino Ingles would feel different as the route is less busy, and we estimated it would take us less than a week to complete. I know that many pilgrims who are short of time choose to walk from Sarria to Santiago on the Camino Frances. However, that section can become very crowded, and I wondered why more people didn't choose to do some of the alternative routes, like this one. I also felt that I should do the Camino Ingles, as I am a pilgrim from England. We've just gone past a bridge which apparently we could have cut over and cut out a few kilometres, but that I feel would be cheating, so we're not doing that. We're going to walk all the way around the bay and come out at Neda, and then I have no idea actually how many kilometers we have to walk after that. I feel like I'm winging it on this Camino, but hey ho. We soon reached a divide in the Camino. It looks like if we go right we end up going around past a monastery, and that looks like the more original route because the original pilgrims wouldn't have crossed this concrete bridge here. So I think we're going to do the original route. Okay, we just spoke to a local and he suggested that we did not go the longer way round, that we go over the bridge. He was trying to tell us it's really, really far and you go all the right way around the houses. So given that we're doing 1.5 stages today, I believe, we will go over the bridge with all the other pilgrims, and actually this is the official route, so I don't feel too bad. I don't feel like we're cheating. We soon came across a lavadero, or a public open-air laundry. There are many scattered around the towns and villages of Galicia. You can smell the eucalyptus walking through the forest. It's actually nice to be out of the built-up area and heading into the countryside. It's a bit wet. I should be wearing a rain jacket, but I left it too late and we're nearly where we're walking to tonight, so I decided to stay wet. Probably a bad idea, but I need to do laundry anyway. We are arriving at a supermarket, I think. We stocked up with some supplies at the supermarket before heading the final stretch to our accommodation. There's a little bit where we go on the road here, but actually it looks like the Camino's turning off. Thank goodness, don't like walking right next to busy roads. Okay. We think this is where we're staying tonight. I don't know how we're going to cross this road. We did manage to cross. The accommodation was really nice, however it did feel a little strange as we were the only people staying in the entire complex. We were also glad we had the supermarket food as the vending machines in the kitchen were empty. The previous night we'd stopped just a few kilometres short of Cabanas, so it didn't take us long to get there. We're leaving Cabanas and just about to cross over the bridge into Puente Dium. Puente Dium is a beautiful town, and we found a cafe right by the waterside where we had breakfast. We then wandered through the town, following the Camino but also looking for some snacks to take with us on the day's walk. We soon found a small supermarket, and there was a lady sitting outside who, on seeing that I was a pilgrim, started to sing me a Santiago pilgrim song.
No, a Santiago voy, como un peregrino por el camino de la ilusión. Traen la 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 la, traen la 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 la, traen la 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 la.
The path out of Puente Dium is pretty steep. It's so steep that there are steps in the pavement. I do now remember reading somewhere that coming out of Puente Dium, it is a very steep road, and I'd kind of forgotten it until I came to walk it. So it is steep. You might want to, I don't know, have rehydrated, refueled, had a snack before you attempt this hill. There's loads of wild mint growing at the side of the road and fennel. You could almost walk along and pick your own herbs for dinner. As we walked, we often walked past Oreos, which are food and grain stores seen in Galicia. The walk after Puente Dium is actually quite beautiful. We're still walking on roads, so still on asphalt tarmac, and the beginning part is very, very steep, but now we're walking on this really quiet road through the eucalyptus forest, and it smells lovely. You can hear the birds, and it's just really quiet and peaceful. I love sections of Camino like this, where you're in the countryside and walking through varied landscapes. Walking through a tunnel of grapevines. Hello! Little Donativo, we've bought a little bracelet each. I'm hoping this is the start of the downhill. Yes. After walking downhill for a while, we came across a cafe that clearly welcomed pilgrims. The lady gave my daughter a special stamp in her passport. We've got Santiago tart. We arrived in Minho, our rest stop for the night, where we were able to get laundry done, have a fish dinner, And as we had a room booked right by the beach, we were treated to some stunning views that evening. The next day started off wet, and it was going to stay like that for most of the day. Back in England, they were having a heat wave. Meanwhile, here in Spain, it was cold and very damp.
The cross of Ponte de Porco.
That was fun. The road's closed to cars, but they built bridges for peregrinos. The rain meant the walk was really atmospheric.
It reminds me of walking the Camino Finisterre last year. Similar weather, tall trees, the mist on the top of the trees, but we are in Galicia near the coast.
This part of Spain is known for having a lot of rainfall.
Little Donativo and shelter from the rain. It's still raining, but it's not raining as hard anymore. For the moment, anyway.
We took the opportunity in Betanzos to get out of the rain and have a drink and a snack. But it wasn't long before we were back on the Camino.
It has been a wet day today and it's still raining. However, it's not raining as much. The thing is with Spain, in June, it's going to be a little bit warmer than it is in the UK. So even though it's raining, as long as I keep walking, I actually feel okay. So I am damp underneath all of my waterproof clothing that didn't really keep the rain out completely, but still in good spirits. My daughter's doing okay. She's walking ahead of me at the moment. And it's downhill now to a point where the hospitalaries, or the people that own it, it's a hotel actually that we're staying in tonight, we're treating ourselves. They are going to come and pick us up because it's slightly off the Camino. So we don't have very far to go. It's just downhill and then a slight incline at the end to a church, and that's where they're going to pick us up. A little incline at the end of the walk today, so we're now just approaching the church in Kos. I need to text Maria and she's going to arrange for us to be picked up.
After a short car journey, we found ourselves at the most beautiful converted monastery.
This is not your standard pilgrim accommodation, but we are in an old monastery. Wow.
The monastery was full of artwork. The hosts were really kind and accommodating, and we had some really nice food while we were there too. We'd only met a few pilgrims so far on this Camino, but on day 4 we met quite a few more.
We just met Felipe from Sicily. Ciao. We've been using Google Translate, but it's the Euros football, and today is it Italy versus España? Italy, España.
Sì, stasera.
See, today.
Partita.
So he's like the only Italian. He has got to be quiet. Shh.
Hi.
What are your names?
Spanish friends.
Spanish pilgrim friends. What are your names?
Laura.
Laura. I'm Kate.
Hi, nice to meet you.
Guille.
BJ.
Guille.
Guille.
Like William.
Guije. I'm probably.
Guille, yeah, it's okay.
I'm butchering it. Oh dear.
And she's Alicia.
Oh, Alicia. So it's after walking several days by ourselves, we have now joined with Felipe from Italy, from Sicily, and we've met some new Spanish friends. So that is really cool.
Tutto il mondo qui.
Tutto il mondo.
Corea, Giappone, inglesi, tedeschi,
Oh, the
americani,
whole
italiani.
world. The whole world. The whole world is on the Camino. Yes, that is very true. We're just saying goodbye to our friends. They're waiting for the other friend who's a bit slower. We're still with Filippo. She doesn't want to be on camera. My daughter's setting the pace. She's not lost her competitive streak. She's overtaking a whole group of pilgrims and we're trying to keep up with her. Prospector. I'm guessing this must be the village of Prospector. There would be more hill climbing today on the long walk up to Bruma Hospital. Up, up, up. So this is the part of the hill going up to Bruma. So far it's okay actually. It's nothing like the walk up to Osabrero on the Frances. We'll see. I think we cross, the Camino goes over the main road a little bit further on and then carries on up to Bruma. We'll see if it gets any steeper, but so far it's kind of like a gradual incline. There isn't any let up, but it's not too bad, but I'll let you know if it gets much worse. Kind of spooky forest. It's like
Twin Peaks.
that is from a long time ago. Okay, we found the hill. I think this is the start of it. At this farm here, we take a right. Definitely steep. All right, we're up for this. Gonna try and power on up because we know there's a reward at the top of a great cafe. We just stopped for an emergency foot repair. My daughter was getting like a hot spot on her heel, and the best thing to do is not ignore it. Even though we're walking up a steep hill in the rain, we stopped. I put some lamb's wool on it and covered it with some KT tape. Hopefully that's done the trick. I spoke way too soon. We're about to go around a corner and the steepest bit is yet to come. We'll see how we get on. Final little surprise hill before we meet the junction with the Camino from A Coruña. I think this must be the join, and that's Casa Abelina ahead. Casa Abelina is open.
How lovely.
Casa Abelina is run by two sisters, and it is well known on the Camino Ingles for providing amazing hospitality to pilgrims. Opposite the cafe is an ancient tree, and we were invited to come outside and hug the tree before then going inside the church and being offered a pilgrim blessing by one of the sisters. It was a really special time. I think what made it even more special was the fact that we shared this moment with other pilgrims. But it was soon time to get on our way again.
We just used the toilets in San Lorenzo albergue in Bruma. It actually looks really nice. I kind of wish we were staying there. And a lot of our friends that we've been, well, friends, people that we've met today that we've been walking with, Grace says they're friends, they're also staying there. So in a way it's a shame that we're not. But they say the Camino provides, so hopefully we will have some different friends tonight. This is Bruma, not very much here. This seems to be the other albergue over there. Everyone stops here apart from us. This is the church at Bruma.
The village after Bruma had an interesting collection of art. We were staying a few kilometres further and we had booked a room at a Casa Rural.
We just spoke to the farmer. Oh, there he is behind me. He speaks English. His daughter lives in the UK, but he wanted to chat with us in English. That was really nice. We've got really lovely sheep with little lambs. So sweet. This is how I imagined the Camino Ingles to be, actually.
We stayed in Donna Maria, a Casa Rural, which is like a country guest house, and this was a really old building and it was beautiful inside. It also had really lovely gardens that the guests were free to use. And we ate a really lovely meal there that evening and got to meet some other pilgrims who were staying in the same guest house.
Good morning. We've woken up for the first time this week to start walking when there is no rain. And actually the temperature right now is perfect. It's a little bit cool, but the best thing is there's no rain. I don't mind the rain too much, but actually it is a welcome relief not to have any right now. And apparently the forecast from here on in is good. So we've got 2 days to Santiago. We walked to Sigüero. Today it's just 18-kilometre day, a short day. Tomorrow I think will be a 16-kilometre day, so an even shorter day. We stayed at a lovely place last night. Expensive for the Camino, but for what we got compared to the UK, it was incredibly good value. We had a really lovely buffet breakfast this morning. So maybe not your traditional way of doing a pilgrimage, but it's absolutely fine for us on this pilgrimage for what we need right now and what our kind of goals are for this particular pilgrimage, which is go on a short 6-day walk to Santiago, me and my daughter, and spend some quality time together. And we're definitely doing that. She's just turned around and kind of turned her nose up at me, but that's to be expected. I think she's enjoying it. I'm pretty sure she is. As you can see, they're harvesting the eucalyptus trees behind me. It's quite loud. I know these are not a native tree to Spain. I think they originated from Australia or somewhere. But they often seem to be planted in rows, and that makes sense. They are a plantation and they're obviously a crop. I'd like to find out what they use the wood for. I'll try and find out.
It's a versatile wood and it's used for paper, construction, firewood and eucalyptus oil.
Today's section has been really lovely. We've been walking through a lot of forest. We're in a little bit of a residential area now, but I think the final section to Seguera we might be following a road. That's what it looks like on the map, but we'll soon find out. Certainly it's been beautiful so far.
There was a welcome Donativo stall in a bus stop in this village, and I stopped, had a little rest, a coffee and a snack. My daughter had gone ahead at this point, but another pilgrim caught up with me and we continued walking together. She told me that we didn't need to follow the Camino route. There was an alternative route if we carried on over the main road, and then we could walk down a side road parallel to the main road, which was a much quieter route. This alternate route is also mentioned in the Braille guidebook, but I was blindly following the arrows, so didn't know about it.
So I found Kate, well she found me, at the little bus stop Donativo stall, and I had coffee and you had
Chocolate cake and a plum.
oh, and I had the chocolate cake too, and I also had a plum, and I took a peach for later. And we left the guy a little note to say where we were from. You left one as well, so we left them together because we're the two Kates from England.
And from Northumberland.
Both from Northumberland. There you go. I'm really glad we chose to come this way. Walking down the main road isn't that interesting. So this is actually really beautiful. And we've just been walking and chatting, and it's been really, really nice. We're just meeting the crossroads where the Camino joins with our little alternate route that we've taken. You can probably make out some pilgrims. But my daughter is not one of them. I think she's well ahead. I found my daughter, she's over there on a bench. Camino Real, that's us. We've arrived. Gonna check in.
We had booked a private room at the albergue, and after doing laundry, we went out and had a drink and some food.
This morning on the last day, we are just leaving. Today we reached Santiago.
We found a bar for a quick breakfast and we were on our way, soon falling into step with other pilgrims.
We're now on the final 10 kilometers into Santiago. We should get there by lunchtime. There was a little section on the main road back there, but fortunately it was quite short. We're back on a minor road now. There's a final challenge before Santiago. This is quite a steep hill, but hopefully it doesn't go on for too long. I can't see the end of it right now though, so I don't know. I think this is actually the very last hill climb before Santiago. The entrance into Santiago from the Camino Ingles is really nice actually so far. We haven't hit an industrial zone or anything yet. We're still walking through forest. They're quite unexpected. Okay, I just made it to the top of the hill.
We then came across another cafe, so decided to stop. In this region, they do seem to like their witches.
6.6 kilometers to Santiago. I was wrong about the last hill. There is another hill, but I've powered up with Santiago tart and a cafe con leche and a freshly squeezed orange juice and a cheese toasty. It's given me the energy to get up the final hill, and I've looked at the map. This really should be the final hill before Santiago. 5 kilometers to go. We've reached the outskirts of Santiago. I think we've just had our first glimpse of the cathedral towers in the distance, getting very close. This may not be in the spirit of the Camino, but we're just walking past McDonald's on the way in, and I've heard that McDonald's have a stamp, so I really want one. Bit sad, I know. Gonna go and give it a go. We got one. McDonald's stamp, check. More pilgrims getting stamps. 2 kilometers to go.
We can get a church stamp as well.
Gonna get a church stamp. We've caught sight of the cathedral. We are so close. We made it to Santiago. We've got our Compostelas. We've been out for lunch. We've met up with some other pilgrims. We met along the way, and it's been a lovely end to the Camino. Buen Camino.